Isn't it nice to know she yells at us that it's happening
every time?
and people at home never hear that?
No.
It's just funny. Okay, here we go. Ta-da!
Good morning.
I was like, do your job, Liz. Hello, good morning. Wait. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Glad we have a good microphone, because that was you impersonating the quiet sister.
You know, I'm trying.
But why?
I don't know.
So I'm wearing, I can sit down because it doesn't take up my whole body here. I still had this on stitch holders. I'll talk about this in a second. And yeah, this actually, look, that's really wide.
Yeah.
But maybe it'll magically suck in when I take sleeves off. We'll see. Stay tuned to find out. Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Cliffhangers at the beginning of the episode. I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Pea Soup Foggy, downtown Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
And I need my coffee. I didn't have enough coffee this morning. I packed it to go and then came in and was packing up packages. So sorry. I'm gonna be distracted because I need my coffee. No, okay, so this, I didn't actually work on this weekend, but it was still on stitch holders from when I it was in morning meditation. And by stitch holders, one stitch holder. This, so here's the needle. I had shout out to Alexia. I had her ask, well, how do you try it on when it's on needles? Because I have something on needles and I want to see what size it is and how it's going. This is the needle that I'm knitting it on. And you can see the other side of it in the middle of my back there, right? When I was going to take pictures of this to show it off, because it was all squished together. Because this needle at most is a 40 inch. It might only be a 32.
32 would be the next size down.
Yes, I've been looking at a lot of patterns lately that recommend a 36 inch, which is like a Canadian or UK like length. And or some companies make them, but others don't. And so that's stuck in my brain. And I'm like, no, but we don't have 36. Ugh. Ours go about every like 6 or 8 inches. 8 inches. Yes. It's 16, 24, 32, 40.
It's math.
She's like, why are you looking at me? So anyway, the needle I'm knitting on is here. And the stitch holder, this is one of our long circular stitch holders. And I'm seeing like other people, these ones, the colorful stitch holders, because I think Coco Knits or somebody came out. No, Coco Knits has the leather stitch holders, leather cords. And while that is beautiful and probably very sturdy and stuff, I've seen leather that isn't as high quality not last. And so I haven't brought those in. I still have these. These are from Clover. There is a company though that's doing colorful ones. I'll talk to you about them later because I don't think we're going to bring them in because I just like my Clover ones. But Clover, it's like a sewing needle, one of the big-eyed sewing needles, but there's no eye on it, just the big girth sewing needle on a cable that is like the plasticky cables for circular needles, for some circular needles. And it has, I don't know if you can see the little stopper. The stoppers have balls of different, are you looking for
it is a foam stopper with a hole to stick your needle through if you're doing a roundy thing, and then a ball to keep the stopper from falling off.
Yes, it both keeps the stopper from falling off, and the color tells you what length you have. So if you're digging through your bag and you see a yellow ball, you know you've got a long stitch holder like this is. And if you see a pink one, you've got a short one, which is what I use to put my sleeves on. For let's see if I have one on this guy.
Yes, you do.
Oh, good. Look, see, it's a pink ball that matches my, like, you can't even see it right now. I'll put it against my forehead. It's the same color as what I'm knitting with, but it's right there. So see, you can stick your needle through there so the stitches don't come off. Although I will say, if you yank hard enough on some of these, the foam will kind of have grown and they will come out. So anyway, back to what I'm wearing. But I slid at least half my stitches onto the stitch holder. Look, I still have room. I could have put a lot more on there, so I can try this on and see how it's going. I just did my last increase. Now it's going to go straight down, and hopefully this extra flare I have here is going to either take shape better to leave room for my arms and everything when I break the sleeves off. Like this will come in, the chest part will come in and the sleeves will come in, but I don't need the whole circumference of this for my sleeves, because you also usually with a top down cast on sleeves tickle right under there. So I don't know. So I'm hoping this is still the right size, but now I can feel like I'm wearing a royal collar for the episode. So, you know, I do need to get back to this. I took a long break from this. And then when I was hunting around for something different to throw in morning meditations, I was like, ooh, I haven't done this in a while. And it's fun. This sweater, the Jupiter Crop by Caitlin Hunter, I saw that someone wanted a fun pullover on Knit and Chat, but nothing too complicated. And someone recommended this sweater. No, it wasn't the Jupiter. It was the Soldatna, which looking like Caitlin Hunter has a lot of really beautiful, fun colorwork sweaters. I would not call them super easy though. I wouldn't call them super challenging. No. Like if you're willing to tackle color work, they're not super challenging. Like you can do it. And I wouldn't tell someone who considers themselves like an advanced beginner, don't do it. I'd say, yes, do it. Engage in it. It'll be fun. Just take your time with it. Mm-hmm. So, but if someone is purposefully asking, I mean, that's the thing about social media or just in general, you don't know what someone's level is, and you don't know when they're asking for easy, if they're asking for color work easy, or if they're asking for a super, super mindless easy. And I would err on the side of don't over assume someone's abilities. And if they're asking for easy, suggest something super easy. But that's the thing, is like, well, the person suggesting it probably found that the Soldatna was super easy for them.
We've had a lot of people in who are looking for easy and pick what we could consider a more complicated project.
Yeah. Only you know what you consider easy. Like, and when you look on Ravelry, people rank it. People will say this was super easy or this was really challenging, and everyone's coming from their own level of what is easy or challenging, right? Well, so
for Ravelry, when I look at this is super easy or super not,
mm-hmm.
I would look through the project notes that people have put, because then you're going to get a more
nuanced.
Yeah, instead of on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy was this for you?
Yeah.
And it's not even 1 to 10, it's the little just
yeah, the and people need some kind of metric. Yeah. But more details in the notes of someone's pattern. I get that.
My first brioche project was the cabled brioche hat.
Was that the flaming hat?
The flaming hat.
That's the one that someone had. Shout out to different Rebecca than me, that they crashed and burned on that hat, and that's why they had to seek out my brioche videos. But you found it.
I found it. I read the project notes, and a lot of people had either never brioche or never cabled or both. The scariest part for me on that hat was the provisional cast on.
I do remember you telling this story. But that also goes to show that it's all relative. And because someone had an easy time with that pattern, or someone like crashed and burned on that pattern, is no judgment on either one of them. It's just everybody's brains work differently. You know, I just did my tips and tricks yesterday on knit your knits and pearl your pearls, which is my way of saying just do what's in front of you, you know, and just that's okay. Like sometimes just sitting down to knit your knits and pearl your pearls, doing something mindless is just right.
I prefer knitting my knits and knitting my pearls and
knitting everything.
And knitting everything.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
Well, and that's like the most that's not even like knit your knits and pearl your pearls is if you want to keep like a ribbing going or an established pattern. The most mindless is definitely knitting everything.
Just knit everything.
Mm-hmm. And that's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, and but the flip side of that, I also don't want to tell someone, oh, you're a new knitter, don't try color work. Well, I mean, I want people to be comfortable and feel successful, but I also don't want to discourage them from taking on a challenge.
Well, and we fight that battle all the time. Is people come in and go, I'm just a beginner.
Or I'm not very good. They'll
Or I'm
go
not
even
very good.
further. They'll put themselves down, and I'm
And
just like, ah.
You have said all the time, if you can knit and purl, you're an
stitches.
advanced beginner.
Mhm.
Like you already know the beginning stitches. Everything else is just a combination of those.
Mhm.
So
Or just building off of those, like increases and decreases and yarn overs and everything. I mean, they add to your repertoire, but they are building on those foundational basics. Yeah.
yeah, if you can knit a dishcloth, you can make anything.
Oh yeah, because you always say, I've seen some of the
I've seen some of the dishcloth patterns, and
Yeah.
they're
Well,
they're
the-
just as intricate sometimes as some of the, even if it's just stockinette with a couple of purl stitch things in there, they're still increasing and decreasing. And
you're still
know.
even doing a square, if you're doing more than just knitting, and even just to say just, the word just is sometimes I find it a dismissive word, and I don't ever mean it that way. You know, oh, it's just knitting. No, it's knitting. But I'll fall in the same bad habit of doing that, of using those words. If it has anything more than knitting in it, you're learning how to move your yarn between knit and purl stitches to set your yarn in place. If it's a corner to corner, you're decreasing and increasing and that kind of stuff. Like there's all kinds of skills there. That a sweater is just bigger, but it's using the same skills you might be using on dishcloth. Absolutely. I had someone come in once and asked, my next project, I can't decide between a sock and a sweater. I'm thinking they both have the same number of challenges in them. And they both might take the same amount of time, because a sock, if you're doing a classic sock on teeny tiny yarn and a sweater on a thicker, Liz has issues with that. So, but if a sweater, if you're doing it with thicker yarn, but it might just take as long. Yeah. And they both have shaping, and it's all good. I tell people, my mantra about when people come in and say, oh, I don't know if I could make that. For knitting and crochet, same message, just different stitches. But if you know how to knit and purl, I firmly believe I can teach you to make anything in the shop. I'd rather not be teaching you knitting while doing a project. So knit and purl, have those stitches down. I can teach you to make anything in the shop. I can teach you to make this. It might take time and patience, of which I have an abundance of for other people. So, but it's doable. It's absolutely doable. And the same thing for crochet. For that, I would say single and double crochet. If you know those. Chains. I mean, chains, yes. And that's why I hesitated in starting that sentence. Chaining is what I think you learn even before you do those others, or they're needed, it's foundational as well. So I might throw 3 stitches into that. But taller stitches, you've got the basics by learning those 2 ones that are a little shorter. Any fancy stuff is usually a combination, or using the skills you learn to learn single and double. And even a double, like if you only know how to do single crochet, I can still get you there. I could teach you to make anything crochet in the shop. Yeah. So might take some time,
because a lot of all the fancy work in crochet is just a combination of chain, singles, and doubles, or the theories thereof.
A lot of how to take the yarn over the hook and how to get the hook through everything. Once you have those skills down, the yarn over and even just the yarn over and chain in theory, but it helps if you know the kinetics, the basic idea behind singles and doubles as well, but after that, sky's the limit, I think. And it doesn't matter how long you've been knitting or crocheting with, it doesn't matter how fast you go. It's not a competition. It's about you getting something done when you get it done. This culture of scarcity and is a Brene Brown term for it, and that wanting to compare yourself to others, it's human nature, or it's inbred into our culture. you know, that kind of thing. And it's tough. So that's what I'm here for. Yay. Because I'm better at helping others with that than doing it, practicing it on myself.
Said nobody ever.
So anyway, so this, I would love to be working on this some more. I'm running into this, the struggle of way too many projects going and making minuscule progress on any of them. So I kind of buckled down. I had some challenges this week because I don't have as much space available to me in my house because there's work being done in my house. So it forced me to maybe work on other things. And I could show off my crochet, and I might do that if we have time. But I don't know if I've made, did I show it off on Thursday? I can't even remember.
So. I think we held it up on Thursday.
And I might have gotten like 1 or 2 rows done, but the rows add like this much to it. So it's probably going to look exactly the same. I did not finish step 8. Step 9 has been released like Sunday. And I still have 1 row to go on step 8 because life. But I'm also trying to be gentle with myself and not say, I have to get everything done.
Pearls and knits happen.
Knit your knits and pearl your pearls.
They happen.
And they happen. And I didn't get to everything. And you know what? That's okay. I keep telling myself that. I haven't internalized it yet, but I keep telling myself that. No, what I did work on my therapy shawl.
You did, and it's gorgeous.
And I don't know if you saw this morning, I've started the top. It's
did not see
fun.
This morning.
So I've done all this color work on it because I love color. Can you tell? I love color work. And I was like, last night, I was like, I turned the corner because it's got these diamonds going up the side, and I turned the corner and I'm like, you go across the top and you're just picking up stitches as you go. I'll show you in a second. And I was like, I can finish this. And it's like this wide. So no, I can't. Not last night. But this is how much yarn I have left, by the way, of my first skein of blue Mayu lace and my second skein of apricot Mayu lace. And I'm tearing through this, doing this top part. So, but I made this bigger than hers because I added color work, stranded color work to make pictures. Because I live surrounded by lots of trees and the dancing deer butts. I don't have the butts, I have the dancing deer, but their butts are facing each other. So anyway, someone like that, they're like, you need to make a pattern for dancing deer butts. And yeah, I don't make patterns, so I could avoid that one, but it would be fun. So I have to see how this is going to block out because it's a little wrinkly right now. And because of how the pattern goes, and it may or may not stretch out and block out, like this stuff is a little puckery, but I'm okay with that. So I'm not showing you this fully yet. Suspense. Started down here, and we've got these little dragon scales, right? I had just the apricot by itself, and then I had the marled section, which 1 strand of apricot and 1 strand of I think it's like winter blue or something. But oh my gosh, it's so soft because it's 2 strands of it's alpaca, cashmere, and silk.
So not yummy at all.
Not at all. I don't want to stop this project because it feels so wonderful. My first experience with color work, where you can see that stripe where I accidentally did too many rows. And the back of that looks like this. It's funky. I have a lot of ends to weave in, which may or may not hide well. I have a section, and again, this whole time it's getting a little bit wider, right? I have the section of snowflakes. You can already see my dancing deer and everything. Look at my dancing deer. Hang on. This is going to fall off the table. Everyone's like, just hold it up already. These are my dancing deer and trees.
They look so cute.
But look, the back side of this, it's like triple thick because look at all that stranding.
Oh yeah.
And I had to lock it down. And this side is kind of funny because wait, okay, strands. Yeah. This side, I was trying to, because this is the side it's increasing on. And so I had a spot where I'm like, I need to lock my floats way over because I'm going to start doing my color work over here. And then I was like, no, I'm not. And so it went out and back for no reason, but I was not backing it out.
Well, fortunately, no one's ever going to see the back.
Of course they'll see the back.
Only when you hold it up.
Well, I'm sure there'll be times when I have it flipped around my neck and the back will show, even though I don't want it to, or unless I hang this up on the wall or something. But like, see how thick that is and crazy? Like it's like the back of someone's cross stitch, and you hope
Yes.
that no one really notices, cares. There's gonna be parts of this, like my little dancing deer. I'm very, very proud of them. There were times when I had to lock the floats down and they went really, really long. I like that from a distance. Look at that from a
It looks
distance. It
super
looks
cool.
really cool.
And speaking of locking floats down and looks like cross stitch, there's a life lesson for that. Like one of my cross stitch friends, she sends her cross stitch pieces to people with the inside that nobody's supposed to see showing because like it's all chaotic. But then, you turn it over and it's a picture.
Just under
So,
the surface,
a life
there's
lesson.
chaos. Maybe I have to think out how I want to
Yeah, I
format
know.
that. But Liz should start her own series.
Nope.
So I did a row of trees. And again, it starts over here. The rows start over here. So I have to decide, and there it's increasing exponentially over on this side. There's a yarn over and a knit front and back on this side. And then there's a knit two together on this side of, again, by the way, this is the Viking Woman Shawl by Kay Hopkins. And so it's only increasing for the entire row by one stitch. But this side is growing by 2 stitches and then it's subtracting over here. So if you decide to do the color work, again, her shawl, the way she'd written it, it's totally a choose your own adventure. Oops. Got things pulling on things. It's a choose your own adventure. And you could do it with a single strand of fingering weight. And her top section like this happens right down here. I decided to keep going and I took charts that she included in the pattern and I had to decide where to place them and start them. And I thought the trees, doing a row of trees and then a row of dancing deer. I thought about doing trees and dancing deer combined, but they take a different number of rows and there might have been longer floats. So trees, dancing deer, trees. I think she pulled these from charts you can find online, but still I used the one that she's put in. And the cool thing is, so this has been happening along the edge this whole time. These little, I call them dragon scales. They're not really pointy before I've blocked it. And after I've blocked it, I don't know how pointy they'll be just holding it up like this, because this is such a soft, floppy yarn. But it turned a corner right here. And then we have the top, hopefully. Okay, someone just called and hopefully they listened to enough of the message to know that we open at 10, which is in like 13 minutes. So we'll see. But I'm doing the top now and I'm right there and I'm doing these rows. Like I have to kind of hold it like this for y'all to kind of see what's going on, right? Because I'm just working back and forth across these stitches. But on the wrong side, every time I pass this stitch marker, I'm purling 2 together. So it's moving me little by little across the top. So I'm following the pattern of what has been happening. Like if I hold it like this, yeah, I'm following the pattern of what I've been doing over here the whole way up. It's turned on its side a little and it's grabbing one more stitch across the top every time I come back on a wrong side row, which is moving me across the top, which is wonderful. And if you want to make this, you should, and come to us for yarn if you want. This has been wonderful. 3 skeins of the Mayu lace for this, for the bigger size that I made. You might be able to get away with only 2 skeins, but you'll have to, I think if I stopped down here and had started the edge of diamonds across the top, I couldn't have done it with just 1 skein of this. The way that I picked colors, you'd have to decide how you want to arrange the colors to make 2 skeins work for yours. I'm using 3 skeins of the Mayu lace. We're going on $95, $100 to make this. This is my therapy shawl. If you like choose your own adventure, this is wonderful. If you're not such a hot fan of choose your own adventure, because she gives you options and gives you suggestions rather than saying you must do this. I've seen a lot of samples of this. If you look up the Viking Woman Shawl on Ravelry, where they just took a fingering weight yarn and they did this snowflake pattern. You still have to choose where you want to stick your snowflakes, kind of, but they just did the snowflake pattern the whole time and it still looks lovely. It's basically, it's your piece. Whatever you decide is right. you know,
And
there's
sometimes
a life lesson there too.
sometimes a choose your own adventure can be fun. Especially she does give you guidance on like
So many ends to weave in. When like she gives you blocks of things to do, kind of. But it's like here she was like, put these stitches in and maybe put them so many stitches apart, but then also, you know, you want to stagger them. That's the word she used, stagger. And you get to decide what you think staggering means. It could mean different things for different people. So when I wear this, I'd have to see how I'm going to wear this so that I can, like, this can be, it might be upside down depending on how I wear it, but it's still dancing deer and it's still cute. I could have thought about that and done it upside down so that it would be right side up if I decide to wear it, let's say like this. But I'm not going to stress about that. If anything, this could be my therapy shawl that hangs on the wall. You know, this was just something I wanted to do.
It's gonna be a nice winter shawl. It's a heavyweight too.
And
I mean,
my deer might be rolling on their backs when I wear it, but whatever. So it's not heavy, but it's warm.
not heavy, but the fibers in there are going, and double stranded. It's going to be
if you it's lace weight double stranded, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And if you want to come by and squish it, by all means, if you're local, come by and squish it. If you're not local, I wish there was a way that we could get you the sensory thing, but you might just have to buy the yarn and do it to get the sensory feeling, you know. So that was what I worked on the most this weekend. I think Sunday I was only at the feet of my deer, so I got a lot of stuff done.
You did.
But I think it's because I'm doing so many projects that are so long that these rows felt short. So I was like, I can do this. Okay, Jupiter crop I'm wearing. Let's see, what else? What are you showing off? Anything?
I got some rows done on my Papillons.
Okay. You should. We're running out of time.
We are running out of time.
We went outside to just sit outside for a few minutes before we filmed. So
I'm working on row 20, stripe 20, like the end of section 2 on this one.
That one matches what you're wearing.
It does.
You've got the olive color
on Mom's, I got all but the contrast row of row 20 done. It looks, it's so black it doesn't really show up, like dark, but
it's dark and broody, and there is nuance to it, but it's hard to pick it up on camera, at least until I go photo edit after.
I did throw row 15 on my zombie apocalypse.
Look at you, because that one's not a Christmas present. That's just fun for you.
That one's just fun. And then I don't know, it's not gonna show up. I did 11, 12, 13. I did row 13 on.
That's the backside.
No.
Yes.
Not
that anyone's gonna tell. So
yeah.
I saw, okay, when it's garter and you've got different colors in there, there's a clean, what I call a clean side and a dirty side. There's a side where they interlock with each other a little, and it's hard to tell on the ghost one because it's like it's off black and black, but you can still see a little bit of those interlocking with each other, just a bit. But it's still, honestly, the back side of the Papillons, the dirty really cool side too. Still looks cool, right? Yeah.
So
this
that was my day.
I don't have on a stitch holder for me to like put on and show, but I thought I'd show y'all. I separated the sleeves. This is my No Frills Sweater. I'll just show it real fast. This is how big my crochet along is. It's like a giant sleeping bag right now, like in its container, and I'm not even going to take it out because, oh my gosh. So if y'all want to see that, come back probably on to Thursday's episode, because maybe I'll have made enough progress that I'll feel like showing it off again, and it'll be bigger. But the rows are like, you know, this high, but they go around the whole entire thing. So this is my No Frills Sweater, where I'm trying to show off our color changing mohair, of which some, like, we're almost out of this color. This is called Retro. It's a color changing mohair that I'm holding with Cascade Heritage Silk White. So it can show off the color. It's not see-through because it's not the mohair by itself, but I've separated the sleeves and I've gotten just a few rows under the sleeves. This does not have the sleeve separated yet. It's just the yoke. It's just the top part. this is where I'm heading with that one, where I have my little stitch holders, yay for the sleeves. But you can see how the stripes are happening in like the color changing mohair does a fadey striped thing. It's gorgeous. Can you imagine like the fire, which is all warm colors, or the sphere, which is all pastels, or the rainbow one in a sweater? Oh my gosh, it would be
Lake or
gorgeous.
forest?
Huh? Oh, lake or
forest.
forest. All greens or kind of greeny blues, like soft green blues. It would be gorgeous. This one is one that I figured all those colors could sell themselves. So I did this one. And we had some people buy us almost out of this color last week based on seeing it in the ball and seeing my photos, because this was at home. I'm back to obsessively trying to bring in all my projects, because you never know when someone wants to see a certain yarn knit up, which means I either have to finish them or I have to keep lugging them all around. There's still projects at home that people, I know someone's going to walk in today and want to see like the one project I have at home. Because that's a thing. It's a thing.
So much.
We have 5 minutes till we're gonna open the shop, and so house cleaning, house whatever details. We are doing knit night this Tuesday and Friday. We'll continue to do it on Tuesday and Friday, but starting next week, we've been doing it from 6 to 9 p.m. Twice a week. And especially on pandemic, the height of the pandemic, when we weren't really here, that made sense. And pre-pandemic, we just kept the shop open for 3 extra hours. Why not? Let's have fun. Let's hang out. We have been reassessing that now that the online shop and walk-in traffic and knit night, everything is back up and running to some extent. We're still limited traffic flow. Masks need to be worn inside, all of those things, which by themselves are exhausting, like individually, and then add them up. We're tired. And I love hanging out with everyone. But I've been talking with my therapist and she's recommending a little more self-care. And on that note, we decided to give y'all a week heads up. Don't worry, don't panic. I know I'm building this up to sound like it's something catastrophic. It's not. We're going to scale back a little bit and have knit night be 2 hours instead of 3. Still twice a week, still Tuesdays and Fridays. What you need to adjust to is starting next week, which is September 21st, I think is Tuesday in the 20s. Liz is gonna check. Is knit night is going to be from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of 6 to 9 p.m.
21st.
I did that my head math right, because the reason I could figure out it was the 21st is the 19th, this Sunday. We're doing our dual platform sit and stitch. It is still going to be 4 hours. That once a month thing I will still keep extra long so people can tune in and out when they want to. That one, not to be confusing, the one on Sunday, this Sunday, is going to be on Facebook Live and Zoom from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think that's a great kind of cap to say, okay, after our big mega one, we're going to be starting knit nights being a little shorter, but we're also keeping them later in the day, the 7 to 9 p.m. For those of you who are out in earlier time zones, there still might be a good overlap. So this week, this Tuesday and this Friday, it's still 6 to 9 p.m. But if you're watching these episodes after September 20th, knit nights will be from 7 to 9 p.m. So get your quality time in a smaller chunk of time. But
we've noticed having the shop open is we have more and more people coming later on in the day. And
it's harder to get
when
home.
when we could a few months ago, we could kind of start closing up the shop around 4:45 and make it home in time to kind of get dinner and get prepped. And people coming later in the day, we love having you come. But if we're closing up at 5:15, it means we have like 5 minutes to get ready at home.
Yeah,
and
it's both
getting a lot.
We both live at least 15-20 minutes from home, and the window is tight, and that'll let us decompress and hopefully be more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed with you, spending time with you. So again, this week, 6 to 9 p.m. is still happening. We're not going to rip the Band-Aid off that fast. But next week, we're going to scale back to 7 to 9 p.m. Eventually, we may start trying to do 1 day a week in person out on the plaza, but we're nowhere near that yet. So we're still doing the online. So long story long, it's
we
10
keep
o'clock.
talking about it. But
So
yeah.
if you want to come tonight, it's from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom with the shop phone number to get in.
828-877-3550.
And that's Friday as well. Tomorrow is the VSC, the virtual shopping channel, where we'll put something else on sale. Today is your last day to get anything that is 200 grams or more in a single skein for 15% off. And we'll pick something else random to put on sale tomorrow. And then Thursday is Dear Becky and Lizzie. If there's something you want us to talk about that relates to knitting and crochet, you want to hear our thoughts upon this, and which still baffles me that people want to hear my thoughts upon something and Liz's thoughts upon something. I mean, it doesn't baffle me as much, but
It baffles me.
because that would be putting you down, and I don't want to put myself down. But anyway, no, it's fascinating and wonderful. And if y'all have something you want us to expound upon, then write us a letter. Dear Becky and Lizzie, Sun Dragon Art and Fiber, 35 South Broad Street, Brevard, North Carolina 28712, or email
Liz@sundragonartandfiber.com.
That will get to us faster. We do cherish all the letters that are sent to us as well, though. We have a little basket for them.
We do.
So we got to go open the shop,
We do.
and there's no one beating down the door yet, but the day is young. And I have to get out of this and not trip over things. And,
So life.
So it's a Tuesday, which is our Monday, which is no shocker there. We love y'all. We miss you. Watch us tomorrow. Yay. Sign up. We have some new patrons over on Patreon. Thank you for that. If you want swag, people are getting their swag. Ooh, where's my Amy D got her swag. So I want to show you a picture. I know we need to open, but this is super awesome. So what happened with the Patreon stuff, I can tell you more later, is I got to design like rectangles, squares, things to go on stuff, and different tiers get different things after 3 months. So a different monthly subscription will get you different stuff. Read the details before you pick an amount if you're really going for a certain item. We don't have these things for sale in the shop. Patreon does it for us, which is wonderful for them. The $50 a month, which I'm not expecting everyone to just be like, yes, I want to give them $50 a month. Woo. But if you stick with that for a year, you get all the different things I've designed, almost all, except I think you get one sticker instead of both stickers, but every 3 months you get a different item. For the lower levels, you stick with us for 3 months and you get some swag, and they're all different. And so I have the mug that you get if you're at the $15 level. And Amy D just got her hoodie, and it's not really showing up. You got to go look online. I'll try to put a picture on social media. It has our Viking, and in the middle of the Viking, it says Viking rating party achieved. So it's your Viking rating party. Let's see, since I've zoomed that in. It's still not there. That's kind of showing up. Anyway, so stick with us for 3 months and you can get some swag. But if there's certain swag you want, there's stickers, there's a mug, there's a tote bag, and there's the hoodie. And unless you're willing to give us $50 a month, which I totally get if you're not, pick the tier you want the swag from. Anyway, we got to go. I'm keeping us from opening, but we love you. And I just had to share that, and yay. Watch us later this week too, right? Anything you want to add,
We'll
Liz?
be there. No, stay tuned for more adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Dun, dun, dun. Will I get one of these sweaters finished ever? I think I'll get this finished. That's the back. This the whatever. Okay.
Whatever.
Bye. Oh, I'm still stuck to my yarn. If I walk very carefully, I won't rip it.